I think that as the youngest of 6 children and one of 2 girls, I sort of grew up in a rough and tumble family with a lot of boys, and I was always the quiet one. And I think that coming here is just so interesting to see the powerful, outgoing women that are here, and it gives me a lot of encouragement.
Do you find that American women are more advanced in journalism than some of the women who you're meeting here?
No, I've been pleasantly surprised. That probably was my misconception coming into it, but I've been pleasantly surprised by the number of women who are running companies or running organizations in other parts of the world, particularly Eastern Europe, which was a surprise to me.
What do you think you'll be able to learn at this conference that you'll be able to take back with you to your job?
I think, like most kind of conferences like this, the learning is more raising awareness. I think it's just, I think that there's very little sort of new information. I think it's more just making you focus a little bit more on things you already know and management skills you already practice, but just sort of raising the level of awareness to those skills.
And in your experience, what do you see as the major challenges for women as journalists?
I think the major challenges continue to be the work-home life balance and trying to get that right for many women. I think that another challenge is the digital world and making sure that women aren't left behind in that revolution.
Is the Washington Post equal gender employer?
We strive to be. Yes, we strive to be. We have a woman as the publisher. One of our 2 managing editors is a woman. Our CFO is a woman, so we strive to be.
Great, thank you.
I just wondered if you could comment on the specific challenges for African American women at this point in history in America in addressing some of the challenges.
I think that African American women, we often, joke about we have 2 strikes, we're women and we're African American, but it's actually not a joke. I think in a lot of cases, women still have to fight to get to the senior levels of companies, and I think that African American women have even more struggle in that regard. I think that we have made some advances. I think that, I take hope from people like Deborah Simmons, who, is at the Cleveland Plain Dealer as an editor. But I do think that we still have, a struggle, and I think that diversity has lost ground in this economic downturn, and I think for African American women it's been especially hard.
Do you think that the leadership of women like Deborah and yourself as African American women in the business has made a difference in terms of the stories that get reported around issues for African American women?
I think that, yes, I do think we've made a difference. I think that there's still, I think there's a tendency when you reach senior levels that there's still a lot of pressure to be conventional. And I think that it's a struggle to sort of maintain your sense of self when you get to a certain level because of the pressures outside and inside to sort of conform to the usual ways of covering news. But yes, I think that, I don't want to say on the margins, but I do think that we do make a difference, but I think it's probably not as great a difference as you might assume just by virtue of being a black woman in a senior position.